Hi, I'm here to tell you about grit. The following is a presentation prepared for BuiltWorlds Summit in Chicago, Illinois, 2017. My name is Chris Callen. I'm CEO of Builders Plus Construction and Grit Virtual. Building information modeling has progressed the industry unprecedentedly, but yet we still get out to the project sites and see chaos all around us. Most of us are pretty oblivious, saying, "This is fine." But let's be honest, reality sucks. When you identify issues in the field, in real life, there is real cost impact and real schedule impact. But let's take a step back and see if we can find a root cause to this issue. 90% of the world's data has been created in the last 2 years. That is no different in our industry. We believe a limited number of stakeholders actually have access to this data that can provide context that turns this into information. We believe the issue is the human-computer interface. Over the decades, it has become more intuitive for users to interact with the data. Now, we have virtual reality and augmented reality, also known as mixed reality, that allows us to interact directly with data, but more specifically, 3D data. Building information modeling has allowed stakeholders to communicate, but at a limited level. With GRIT, we aim to engage the entire project team of all stakeholders. When we look at the roles each stakeholder has in the project, we look at the difference between strategy and tactic. The end user and designer are concerned with creating what will be built. The designer and builder are worried about how and who will build it. Let's start by looking at the end user. This could be a developer, an owner of a building, a company, or even a customer of a company that will occupy a space. We make all of our models extremely easy to navigate and interact. We have identified adoption of the technology as our #1 barrier to entry. That's why we add games. We add engagement that allows people to have fun while they're inside the experience. We most of the time have the person coming out of the headset pulling the next one in because they want to share the experience. As I said, we make things very intuitive. That's very important for what we're trying to do. Most of the solutions you'll see today have issues with getting their users through the experience. We aim to make all of our materials to the high enough level that you can make a decision based on. While the user is in the headset, we would like to pull qualitative information, such as opinions, but also things such as a finish selector, so that they can make a selection and not see it on a color palette, but actually see it on a wall with true lighting conditions. Next, we look at the designer and try to figure out what information could they pull from this same experience. While the user is interacting with the space, we can give them use cases. In this example of an office, we had the user try out 5 different paths that they would travel. While they did their job, we looked at the paths they went upon and found that 4 to 5 brought them to the right rather than the left. We made the decision to install a red carpet that had walk-off textures. We take that a step further and look at the actual direction of the headset. So while the user is moving throughout the space, we can look at what direction they're looking and for how long. This is important information to the designer so that they can understand whether or not the space is being used and interacted with at the designed intent. Next, we look to the builder and see how they can use this same strategic information. Today, most of the people that actually install the pieces never get to interact with the 3D data due to the interface. By using VR, we are able to input the entire project scene inside the space. We can also look on top of the design of the project, but to the reality capture of the actual space. So looking at the current conditions and the design conditions and how they interact. You can also use this for site logistic understanding. With training, we can get rid of a trainer, which automatically leads to cost savings. We can also iterate multiple scenarios much quicker than you can in the real world. And kinesthetic learning, moving while information is being retained, has been proven to be a premier way of learning. In our future, we plan on diving deeper into these use cases to get more and more stakeholders engaged. But once we have the strategy of what we will build, we want to break down that entire structure into tactics that are deliverable to man and machine to be able to assist in the actual installation of the project. Thank you for your time. We are Grit, and you can find us at wearegrit.com or on Twitter at wearegrit.